Hello, welcome to my home. If you're new here, my name is Karen. We're in the process of selling our home. Oh my goodness. In my last video, and I'll have the playlist linked up at the end of this video so you can just click right on it and see what videos you might have missed if you want to see our journey to sell our home. But in my last video, we were looking at the photo day. So the photographer came, my husband and my daughter Rachel stayed, and then Crecia, Yvonne, my two daughters, and my grandson Jabari, who is 2 months old, and the two cats. We packed up in our SUV and went out for a bit. Both cats got sick. Oh my goodness. I think I had them like too far back. I have a Chevy Traverse, which is a pretty large SUV, and I had them crated and all the way to the back of the vehicle, and I think it just was too far back and they got car sick. But what a mess that was, because I had to come home and we had to get their, I had a blanket in one kennel, and one kennel has a soft bottom. It's more like the kind that you would use if you're flying. And so of course we had to take all that apart and get that all cleaned up. Nasty. So then our house was supposed to go up on a Monday. We had picked the date ourselves, not realizing that normally houses are going up on like Thursday, Friday. So on Thursday night, my realtor said, "Hey, good news, your house goes up tomorrow." And we were like, "Oh, okay." So we just decided we'll just take it and run and count on that as God's timing, because we definitely are trusting God for the timing of all the things here and selling our home. So the house went live online at, like realtor.com and Zillow and all the places. First, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday morning. And then at 11:30, my realtor called and she said, "I have someone who wants to see your home at noon, but I can't even get there by noon," because my realtor is amazing and she's at every showing. She's actively selling my home. And I've worked with her before, and I trust her. So she had said that what works for me. She was asking what works for me, and I said, well, actually, if it could be like 3 o'clock or after, that would be best. So we thought this whole time we were showing the house at 3. So we were trying to get the house ready to show. Of course, it's early, 3 days earlier than we were planning on. But, it's fine. You roll with it. And then she called me at like 2:30 and said they can't do 3 after all. So it'll be 10 in the morning on Saturday morning. So it was time to get the house ready to show. I had gotten a we had gone out and gotten a grocery order. Yvonne and I had told her I would take her to Target. So we went to Target. And we actually got lunch first because we didn't think we'd have time to go to Target because we thought the showing was at 3. But then we found out while we were out, showing wasn't until the next day. So I said, okay, we might as well go to Target. So we went to Target. We were supposed to have a grocery order delivered, but once we found out we were showing the house, we called to see if we could pick it up. Well, now we were kind of stuck picking it up at 3. So after Target, we went and picked up the grocery haul. So I'm going to show you the grocery haul. Yvonne's going to show you. And then we will switch up to Saturday morning, getting the house ready to sell. So if you have a to-do list, this will be your encouragement and your motivation as I clean to get ready for someone to come see the house. And also, as a surprise, because I'm doing this part of the video later, I can tell you how that first showing went. I'm going to put that at the end of this video. So we'll do all the motivation and what my priorities are. I'll share with you getting the house ready to show. Whoops, that's my phone. And then at the end, I will tell you how it went. And I think you're going to be maybe a little bit surprised.
Okay guys, me and Mom came back from Target. I'm going to show you what we got at Hannaford. Tape 1. Okay, so we got 3 of these, the DiGiorno pizzas, frozen pizzas, the main one. Then we got 2 things of Rachel's bagels. Then we got some whole milk, some large brown eggs, a bag of nectarines, just 4, granola bars, the peanut butter ones, some red grapes, some green onions, a small bag of carrots, 2 cucumbers, some gluten-free chocolate chips, 2 bags of salad, some bacon, and then 2 things of the sliced beets, 1 can of beans. This I'm obsessed with, some spicy salsa, some jalapeno slices, some cheddar Quaker cheddar rice crisps. Guys, another thing I'm obsessed with is these spicy Doritos. Then Leo squeezies, and then 2 things of green beans, 4 tomatoes, some green all-purpose cleaner, some green grapes, a big bag of Brussels sprouts, a bag of potatoes, some pepperoni, I don't know what, I think this is steak, I don't know, and some chicken, some rice, popsicles and Mom already opened.
Don't mind if I do.
And 2 things of the butter pecan coffee. And lastly, Mom bought some flowers for when we show the house. Oh, and I forgot here. And she bought some mini ginger ale. This. And then she bought 2 things of Coke. Here's the other one. And that is it.
That's Friday. I switched to Saturday morning. Of course, I'm up early, which the cats only love too much, so that they can eat early. Of course, they love that. And there's those flowers that we bought. I will be breaking those up. And first order of business was to get the dishwasher emptied. And so I'm just going to give you the quick before and after. Here it is, all nice and full. And here it is, all nice and emptied, and I could just keep moving forward. I'm trying to take it just one step at a time. I'm super nervous, and of course I want everything to look perfect. So we have a few things out. There's the dining room, and then there were just these couple of things out from our grocery order the day before that I need to put away. So we'll get the toilet paper put away, and I do end up putting the paper towels in the basement because I don't have a big enough spot. Here is the refrigerator. I tried to just neaten it up as best I could because that is going with the house, so they might be looking in the refrigerator. Also the pantry. I like to have all the closets super organized, and this was honestly as good as I could get it in the moment, so that when they open any drawer or any closets, they're going to see things looking as well as I can make them look, so that the house appears like it has enough room for everything, and it's not too overly packed. I just feel like that can give kind of a negative vibe about the house. Everything was pretty clean. I just needed to wipe things down, which was good. So I'm just kind of taking a cloth and going room by room and making sure everything is wiped down. Of course, bathrooms are super important. Can you imagine going into a home to consider buying it and the bathroom is dirty? I definitely don't want that to be true. It's so funny because, of course, as the wife and mom, I'm the one who's super nervous about everything being just so. Everybody else is pretty much asleep, and I end up having to wake everyone up. I woke my husband up early at like 7:30 in the morning, and then I ended up waking up my daughters. Well, Rachel got up on her own, but my other 2 girls, I woke them up at 8:30 because I thought, okay, it's an hour to go time. You got to get up, you got to make sure your bed's made and everything is staged well in your room and be ready to leave the house. So that is what we're doing. And of course, Leo is going to keep track of me and make sure that I do everything just so. Also, you can see the cat bed on the left-hand side right there. We did take the cat bed out. We put that into the basement just while we were showing the house. and both cats are coming with us. So what I ended up doing is I just took one of the cardboard boxes that we hadn't folded together. It was still flat from Lowe's, and I just set those over the cat boxes. We scooped the cat boxes, of course, and then we just put that piece of cardboard over the top so it wasn't something they would really focus on when they saw the house. And then the little baby chair, things that are out on the floor, we did definitely hide those where we could, because we wanted the house to be open and airy and to not look cluttered in the least. Everyone has their own ideas about home staging, but I think there's some general things that everyone would agree on. One is to not have any personal photos on the walls or on, any of the furniture. You want them to picture themselves in your home and not to get distracted by pictures of your family. So I did leave this picture over the couch because I just feel like that wall is really large and empty without it. But I'm pretty minimal here. I have the little cushions, the pillows there, and that little blanket. And then besides that, to be perfectly honest, I feel like having things as clean as possible. We had been cleaning off our countertops, and even the Keurig we put in a lower cabinet so that it didn't show at all. That way, when they walked in, they saw the clean countertops. It wasn't really, it was possible, but I didn't inconvenience myself by having the microwave off the counter. It's something we use so frequently, I decided not to do that. But I did get this, as you saw in the grocery haul, this large bouquet from our grocery store. It was $29.99. One of the things I do when I arrange flowers is I will cut off all the lower leaves and branches because I notice as they sit in the water, they rot. And if the flowers last a good deal of time, then as they rot, they also smell. And even though you're changing out water, it's just so much easier to keep flowers longer if you cut off those leaves from the stem. And then cutting your flowers at an angle, which I actually didn't do, is the right way to do that. And then it comes with food for the flowers. And so what I did was I divided those up among my vases. I end up using the 2 clear vases and the larger of those 2 smaller ones. And so I forgot to give you a shot of it, but you're going to see the flowers I put on my kitchen island, and you'll see the flowers I put on my dining room table. Those are the 2 larger vases. And then the vase that is smaller, that one is going to go in the bathroom. And that's the one I forgot to show you, but it does end up having 4 roses in it. I just thought this was such a beautiful arrangement. And you guys, you and I have been talking as we go about whether to scent the house, whether to have smells in the house, whether it be something I'm cooking in the crock pot, something I'm baking, or if it was like a Bath and Body Works scent. And so what some of you were saying, the feedback that I was getting was that you could have someone with multiple chemical sensitivity, and so they wouldn't want to have like Bath and Body scents. But even one of you has a hard time with food smells and has to air their house out after they cook. And sometimes you do fine with that, sometimes not. So I was gonna see how to bake bread in the crock pot. I had looked that up. I thought that would be a good one. But after hearing your feedback, I thought, oh dear, now I'm kind of torn. So here is what God did for me. Okay, and this is Leo. He has to get in the way every time. Oh my goodness. I'm literally leaving that here because this is what I deal with. He will leave me alone, and then I get out my camera and in he comes. Just like clawing the back of my, I was like, okay, this is enough. Clawing the back of my bed, my headboard. He never does that unless I am on YouTube. If I have my camera out and I'm in my bedroom, he will often climb to the headboard and start clawing around. It's like he's showing off for the camera, I swear. But anyway, here's what happened. We had been having hazy, hot, humid weather. And then the day before, on Friday, we had thunderstorms and the humidity broke. The day of our showing, I wake up, the weather forecast is mid-70s Fahrenheit, no humidity. So what I was able to do is go around the house, shut off all the AC, open every single window, and air the whole house out and have nice, fresh air for our showing. I felt so completely blessed by this. I just felt like, you get those little God nods where you feel like, oh my goodness, what an answer to prayer. And so all of us went to Dunkin' when we had the showing, and then we came back, and then we had a second showing, and we just went down to the park, sat outside together. I brought lawn chairs down, and it was just so completely nice. To wrap all that up, for staging my home, what we ended up doing was we rented a storage unit, which this is a good time of year to do it. They were having sales, and we got it 50% off. We took out any extra furniture just so that things were looking loose. I do have or had a family wall of photos. I took that down. I patched all the little holes. We did what we could to patch. But as one of you had said, who is a realtor, she was like, okay, you've done good. Now stop, because you want everything to be so perfect, and you don't have to take care of absolutely every single little thing. But just my advice is do your best. And beyond that, it was making sure everything was clean. We also rolled up area carpets because they're not buying our area carpets, they're buying our flooring. It showed that we had hardwoods in a couple of the rooms. It showed off the vinyl plank flooring, and then making sure that everything was clean. I had a couple of blinds that were broken, and you can get the inexpensive white blinds right in Lowe's or Home Depot. And so that's what we did. And any drapes that I felt like got in the way, I took down. I had drapes in our 3-season porch. I ended up taking those down because they were quite a bit faded. Plus, we had redone the deck railing because we didn't have any railings on the deck. So if someone was a first-time home buyer and they were in a special program, which didn't, could or could not happen, we wanted to make sure that our house was able to be purchased by one of those people. So, and then day of, we took our cats with us. Our realtor said we did not have to do that. Well, I took Leo because he tries to escape. So I didn't want someone coming in and Leo getting outside, and then we can't go find him until we got back after the showing. I certainly didn't want my realtor running around trying to get my cat. Woozy would have been fine, but I thought if someone is allergic to cats, I just didn't want that to even be on the radar. So cat beds were down in the basement, the cat boxes were covered, and the cats were with us. I just felt like overall it was safer for them, and it was better, but that'd be something that you should talk to your own individual realtor. Like I said, my realtor said it was fine to have the cats stay in the house, but I was glad to have them with me. That was what gave me more peace. We also tucked away any baby furniture that we could tuck away. We had taken, or they had taken, the bassinet out for photo day just to take that photo, then put the baby bassinet right back in. But the baby bassinet was up for the showing. Not a big deal. I think most people can look past what you have and see the house. When I have been house shopping, if a place was an absolute disaster, there's stuff everywhere. I personally had a hard time seeing the house. If it was super dirty, you wonder, okay, if you can't vacuum a floor, if you can't wipe down, clean a toilet, then what else are you not taking care of in a home? If closets were super messy, I probably would buy the house anyway. In fact, I know I would, but I would kind of wonder if they were the type that weren't caring, daily for their home, would they be the type that would keep up repairs? And so that would be something that would kind of be on my radar. Having said that, the house that I'm in right now that I am trying to sell, when I purchased it, it was a mess. It was being rented out. And the people that were renting it, honestly, they were ruining the house. It was extremely dirty. There wasn't a ton for clutter just because they didn't own a lot, but the owner or the person renting was like putting nail holes in the wall to display his kids' artwork just throughout. So, having said all of that, I did buy this house when it was a mess, when it was a fixer-upper, because it had the size I was looking for and the price point was lower, and it seemed to have good bones. You know what I mean by that? it seemed like things were solid. It seemed like, and of course I had a building inspection. And so it seemed like everything was good to go that way. It was just going to be elbow grease. And so I did end up absolutely purchasing this house, even though it was a mess. So that's why I say when someone's selling a house, they just need to do their best. And as we clean our homes, as we declutter our homes, if I'm a proponent of anything, it is to just do your best. If you are disabled and you can't get down the stairs to clean out your basement, then you have really two choices. One is to get help, and the other is if you can't get help, you just have to kind of pretend it's not there and live your life, because none of us can do better than our best. I'm one who always prays that God will send me the help I need. So I do pray that prayer. So if there's something I have to just let go, I'll pray that God will send me the help I need. And then I'll kind of ignore it and live my life. And I'm thankful and blessed that we have been able to do the decluttering that we have done. And as we get to move forward, whenever the house is up, is under contract, and when we find a place in Vermont on the other side, then I will definitely be doing more decluttering. I know my husband has some books he wants to declutter. And depending on where we live, we might be decluttering some tools and power tools and that sort of thing. So we're going to be right back in the basement, guys. We're going to be right back to doing more decluttering. And then I expect, I have everything as decluttered as possible. I will have everything as decluttered as possible before I move. But realistically, because I said this last time and someone said, no, declutter before you move. Well, yes, of course. But I am also old enough and realistic enough to know when I get to the other end and I'm actually in that house, I will be limited by the space that I have. There may be some things I have to say goodbye to. So anyway, there is the dining room. You just got a shot of my problem child in the kitchen eating his food. But there's the flowers in the dining room, which I thought looked so pretty. And you saw the flowers with Leo too. And I tried to hide the fact that he often eats his breakfast on the island and then I have to wipe it down. But I thought, I don't have time this morning. I've got people who are going to be here at 10 and I'm trying to leave by 9:30. So just quick wipe ups, making sure that the top of my stove is beautiful, clean, and shiny. Also, I always use a razor blade on the top of my stove at an angle, and I've even gotten some gunk off of wood floors. I wouldn't suggest it because you don't want to scrape your wood, but I took the chance and it worked out fine. I've used my razor blade on mirrors before, and I've also used it on windows. This one, I believe, comes with the Wyman's cleaner on Amazon, but they're pretty common and you can get them from most anywhere. I would love to know how you're doing and what you're working on. What is your to-do list today? Let me know in the comments section. It always gives me such great motivation to know what you are doing. And so, as I was getting the house ready to show, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, how many days are we going to be doing this? It has its own special kind of stress to think about getting the baby out, the people out, the cats out, getting everything looking the way that you want it to be, completely staged, completely clean, telling everybody, I kind of made it a joke if I had to move, we took our dirty laundry. Amber, thank you so much for the idea to have a laundry basket ready to just toss things in and take them with you. That is exactly what we did. I didn't want anything in the washer or the dryer. So I made sure I get up early. I put a load of wash in. You probably heard it at the beginning of this video in the background, just to make sure that my laundry was up to date, and then anything that was last minute came with us. And anything I washed that morning, I folded and put away. But any little thing, just throw it in a laundry basket, put it in your car, and then you can take it out when you come home. So there's my downstairs bathroom, all spiffy and clean. That felt good. And then the upstairs bathroom was also clean. And then also my bedroom I had everything completely finished and looking good too. After I got the house all ready and the girls finally, I had to wake up the girls, and actually I kind of had to wake up my husband too now that I think about it, but I woke him up earlier so that he could help me. He did all his, he was out. It's so funny. Do you ever see those videos that just talk about how a husband's priorities are completely different than a wife's? He's outside with a leaf blower, and I'm like, what is he even doing? I don't even know. But I'm assuming he also blew off the deck, which would have been a good thing. I didn't think of it, but that would definitely have been a good thing to do. I don't know what he was blowing on out there. But anyway, got everybody up, ready, house completely staged. And we decided, we took both cars. So we have our car, my husband and I, Chevy Traverse. And then Crecia has a car, a Nissan Altima, I think. And anyway, we kind of divided up between the two cars. And so Yvonne and I had Jabari, the baby. And so we were in my Chevy, because that's where his car seat is. And we took the Easy Cat, which is our older cat, Woozy. Although he got, oh man, he not only got sick, he actually did everything he could do in that kennel when we went the first time. But we had him moved up this time, up middle back beside Jabari in his kennel. And then my husband, Crecia, and my daughter, Rachel, were in her niece, my daughter Crecia's Nissan, with Woozy kenneled up, so that we just, divide and conquer. And we all drove out to Dunkin', got ourselves some coffee, and just kind of sat in the parking lot and chit-chatted. And then we had gotten a call that somebody also wanted to see the house. So the first showing was 10 a.m. Someone wanted to see the house at 11:15 a.m. So that was a little tricky because our daughter Crecia had to leave work at like noon. So for her to get ready. So the first showing ended at like 11:15. No, it started at, I'm sorry. The first showing started at 10. It ended just after 10:30. We went home. Cree ran around, got herself ready for work. And then we were leaving at 11, but the next showing got here early. So we did kind of crisscross, and the realtor was there. But this time we just went down the street to the park, and that person was in and out quick because they thought it was too small. You know those photos that they do, the realtor photos, they always make your house look so much bigger than it actually is. I think they put it on like a 1.5 or something like that, their camera setting. So they thought it was too small. I thought, oh, good, that's fair. And it's so funny because I had a feeling we were going to get an offer. We went to bed that night, no offer. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Next morning, we wake up, and we're getting ready for church, and we're about to leave for church, and I get a call from my realtor. So I'm thinking she's going to tell me that there's another showing, and I'm thinking, oh no, am I going to go to church? My house is not ready it's not show ready. Even though they say every time you leave, it should be show ready, life doesn't always happen that way. And Yvonne was still in bed because Jabari had been up a lot that night. So I get on the phone, and she's like, is your husband home too? Is this a good time? And I said, yes and yes. So she's like, I have an offer for you. So my husband came upstairs, and we listened to the offer. It was above asking price. Great offer, pre-approved already for the mortgage. And so we are under contract. Oh. And they even wanted to close by August 16th. So we got them to do a little extension for us so that we had till the end of August to find, quote, suitable housing. So now it's go time. I am in contact with the realtor this morning to plan when I'm going to Vermont to look at properties. And so we're going to quickly shift from videos about getting our house ready to show to now finding our new home, oh my goodness, in Vermont, and packing up this house. More decluttering is going to come because we waited on my husband's books. We're waiting on his tools to see what kind of a house we're in so he knows what he needs to bring and what he doesn't. So we're going to actually be back in the basement doing more decluttering, and I'm taking you along for the whole journey. I'm so excited. I thank you so much for your friendship and especially for your prayers and being here for me. And I'm very excited to share the whole journey with you. So if you haven't, I can't talk. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I invite you to consider that. It does help me. and it's completely free, and it also ensures that you can find out whenever I upload a new video by clicking on your subscriptions. And remember, as always, God loves you, I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.